Welcome back. Yes, indeed. We're going to start our conversation with two gentlemen. Those you've seen that joining us this morning. Well, here in the studio, Senator Olakanwogu is the former chairman, Senate Committee on Environment. And then we also have Shadrach Fubara, who is a diaspora coordinator, Rivers Team Movement Worldwide. He's also an environmentalist, plays in the oil and gas sector. Gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for coming on today. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
Let me start with you. I'm a person about Shadrach Fubara. I mean, when they hear your surname, they expect, okay, we should get some insights from you in terms of probably what you know about what's going on, because we keep reading the government lately talking about liberation. So tell us, lots of people don't even know what the bone of contention is in the first instance. What can you tell us about that?
Well, good morning, Chamberlain, Maupe, and Ayo in Lagos. And good morning, Nigerians. On behalf of the good people of Rivers State in diaspora, first, Chamberlain, permit me the opportunity to say a very big thank you to Rivers people for standing by Governor Siminalayi Fubara through the election process. Those of us in the diaspora did reach out to our folks back home and encourage them to support this governor. I know that at that time, a lot of people were skeptical because they considered him a neophyte in the political landscape of Rivers State. Today, we are vindicated by the performance of this governor. We have seen from day one when he got sworn in, exactly 1 year this month. In the next couple of days, it will be exactly 1 year in office. We have seen that he came prepared as a governor for Rivers people, and the massive support of the people has made it possible for some of the gains that have been achieved within 1 year. Some will argue that it's too early to judge the life of an administration that has 4 years mandate. But we can see that within 1 year of being elected the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara has hit the ground running. Chamberlain, you mentioned about what's all the furore about in Rivers State. For us in the diaspora and for majority of Rivers people, it's a little disturbing and worrying because we had expected that whatever it is, whatever differences that exist between the former governor of Rivers State, who himself served meritoriously the good people of Rivers State, we would have expected that he would have allowed, or those forces, whoever the forces are, should have allowed this government and this governor to continue to serve the good people of Rivers State as we have seen. If you ask me what is the bone of contention, I think it's more of personal ego and greed that is at play. Because otherwise, I see no reason why for a group of persons or persons that have served Rivers State and their tenure is over, I see no reason why they should continue to oppress or want to intimidate or want to frustrate the effort of anybody who today is on the seat to serve the good people of Rivers State. So our appeal is that as this government marks 1 year in office, it would be wrong. It would be wrong, yes, to continue to frustrate the effort of this government. This governor and his team should be allowed to work for Rivers people. The interests of Rivers people should be overarching in anything anybody is doing. We all have our personal interests, but we want to appeal to the politicians, to the leaders of Rivers State to rise up to the occasion. Because from what we can see, it is the heart of Rivers people. It is the heart of the state It's been attacked here. So I think that needs to be discouraged as much as possible.
So let me ask you, Senator Wogood, you heard him there.
Yeah.
In terms of the Board of Contention. What do you think about it?
Well, first to thank you for having me here. And I understand someone else is in Lagos, Ayo. Just to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And my brother out there, out of the country, glad to have this conversation with you. First, I think most of what has happened, the challenge is the matter of education. I listened to you speak and you talked about how you mobilize support for Governor Rubra, and then you went on to talk about what the problems are. And you did say that there are issues of maybe greed or whatever. First of all, it's good to let you know, Rubra became governor because at the time of decision-making for the party to field a candidate, the PDP had to sit and decide. The leader of the party in the state at that time, and still is, the Minister of FCT, who then was the governor of Rivers State. And what he did was put the leadership of the party together. He gave an opinion, and it was from that opinion the candidacy of Fubra blossomed. When you want to give credit to how this turned out to be, I just thought that you should start rightly with where it started. Essentially, the Minister of FCT, then Governor Wike, made the process that brought about the emergence of Fubra. And then when you say the problem that we have today is that of greed and all that, I'm glad you acknowledge the meritorious service of Wike. The goal we had for Rivers, which we still have, is a river state that will be prosperous, that will be developed, a river state that will grow in both infrastructure and the people. And Wike showed that it was possible. In the 8 years of his governance, he brought to light the things we can be. He worked so hard and inspired us that we were proud of him, and he too was proud of us. And our prayer was that Fubra would just continue. If Wike was the person who was alleging our resources, stealing our money, he would not do the things he did. He succeeded. And we said, if we have another 8 years of this is where we will be. Unfortunately, this problem started. There's a disagreement that can happen between people. But from that point, conflict merchants came in. I am happy you acknowledge that it was difficult to sell. You said by yourself that people were skeptical about Fubra. People were opposed to Fubra. Wike battled to bring understanding that this man can do this job. You probably wherever you were, you did your bit. But on the ground, in Rivers State, from campaign venue to campaign venue across the state, it was Wike that carried the campaigns. And he got Fubra to become governor. If they were allowed, I sincerely believe that they would have resolved their issues. But third parties came in. Conflict merchants, people who had opposed Fubra and said Fubra was not fit to be governor, now took over Fubra.
But what were these issues, though? Was it greed, like you said?
No. The initial problems, to the best of my knowledge, and I speak as somebody who was there. The first issue, there was just a minor issue of, at a campaign, no, not campaign, at a commissioning ceremony in Obiakpo Ilelewan, Fubra was speaking. And he had said how he got at 100 days or so, the very first project. He was explaining to the Ilelewan people that he made them campaign promises. He would do this, he would do that. And that the roads he had come to commission were what he had done, pursuant to his promise that when he was, after his service, he worked and lived somewhere in Ilelewan. He rented the place and lived there. And that this is the promise I made to you people, and this is what I did. And I recall the minister saying to him, we have a way we operate here. While you are the governor and all the glory goes to you, the minority leader of the state, of the House of Reps, is from that community. It is him who came to me and said, please, governor, do this road for my people. And I awarded this job and got it constructed. So in matters like this, while you speak to your promises, find a way to acknowledge the contribution of people like this. That is how they get recognized in their community. Because in truth, it was him who came to me and I awarded and paid for the job. That was exactly what happened. But
so why was that?
Was commissioning it. From that point, things just went downhill in a way that nobody could understand.
Yeah.
Communications were.
I don't understand. How did that? Because you say that's part of the problem.
It was practically.
That appears to be simple and straightforward.
I will tell you two things. One, apart from it being the genesis of the problem that I know, as somebody who was there, when the governor Ubra went to the president for a resolution, and president said, "Okay, go and meet the elders. Let the elders take you to Wike and get this matter resolved." He came to us. We sat, about 15 or 20 of us elders of the state. We took him and went to Wike and pleaded with Wike that this matter has to end. And Fubra was asked to speak. He said there were no issues. Then Wike in turn said, no, don't say there are no issues. If there are issues, say it so we will know. Because as far as I'm concerned, outside this matter of the commissioning at Obiakpong, all I know was that I supported you from this level to this level to this level, beginning from your career as cashier, to being accountant, to being accountant general, permanent secretary, and governor. And if I had done only that, I'm sure you'll be grateful.
Okay.
So I do not know why. Also, read the papers, listen to the news. All sorts of allegations are made against me. How did this come up? I never asked you for anything. Yet they are saying I am. Where is it greed? Maybe those are the things you heard. I never asked you for anything. Not privately or publicly. I never asked you to make any commitments to me. I supported you. So where is this coming from? Then Fubra pledged that he will go out and make clear statements so it will end. At that point, we thought it was resolved. We actually sat back, went to the Anabraba, the leader's house, had a drink. We had a drink, we celebrated, we have resolved the issues of it because we couldn't hear anything. Wike was like, tell me what this is about. That's what I said, I will never hear my Oga. What you have done for me, I'll never, that's all we had. For me, it became a thing where when we meet, all is well. But later you hear people chanting Wike is evil. So I worry that the not knowing some of these things allow you to frame a thought that outside greed. When people talk of greed is like a desire to take more than you deserve. We can't ask nothing of Rivers State.
Okay, let's ask him. Mr. Fubara, are you aware of this account?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain, and thank you, my brother, Senator Olaka Nwogu. I think that this conversation should be focused on the governor's 1 year anniversary. That's my expectation. I think that's what we should be focusing on. My brother Olaka has said a lot of things. I'm not here to dispute or dispel some of the things he has said or meetings I wasn't privy to and I wasn't there, and I'm not going to speak to things that I'm not aware of. However, let me make a point very clear. With due respect to the former governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Chief Nyesom Wike, he served Rivers State, and we all acknowledge that. He supported this governor to emerge. That does not mean that this governor will be at his whims and caprices. We acknowledge everything that he did for Rivers State, and let it not be lost on anybody how much support we gave to him as the governor. Every part of the state supported him wholeheartedly. From the riverine to the upland, everybody supported him. So on several occasions, he had come out and it's on record to have said, when it's your turn, you do for your people or you serve your people. So I see no reason why, after God has used him, God used a lot of people to make him who he is today. Okay? So God having used him to support the emergence of Governor Siminala Ifubara, I think that's a credit that is, goes to him, no doubt. However, this man, as the governor of Rivers State, should be allowed to function. Whatever the issues are, are things that can be resolved. My brother Senator Olaka Nwogu has mentioned political merchants or whoever they are. how far is that from saying people are greedy, or it's greed that is driving these persons? Whichever sides of the divide they are, it's all born out of greed. Because if we are putting the collective interest of River State at heart, then our attitude, our way of behavior, politics is over anyway. This is time for governance. So on one hand, you hear surrogates of the former governor making vile threats. A local government chairman will come out publicly and be deriding a sitting governor. Our former governor, Chief Ex-Lawmaker, would not have taken any of this. As a matter of fact, no local government chairman could have done what some of them are doing today. They deride the sitting governor. I'm sure my brother Lokawogu will not take it from anybody if he was a governor. Okay, so regardless of whatever happened and how this governor emerged, today he's leading Rivers people. He's the governor of the people. Everybody should allow him to govern. When 2027 comes, then we'll go into an election or politicking or electioneering, then everybody can, bring up whatever issues they want to bring up. I think that for now, he should be allowed to govern. Everybody should see their sword. My appeal to the former governor is, please, as a leader, as one whom Rivers people supported wholeheartedly and massively during your 8 years administration, and as one whom Providence has blessed immensely. Today, he's the Minister of the Federal Capital by the appointment given to him by the President, or through the appointment given to him by the President. So if there are officials in Abuja who every day they take to the media or take to social media or programs and events, and all they're doing is, abusing him or vituperations on him, how will he feel? Okay, so my appeal again, Chamberlain, is the successes that have been recorded by this governor should not be lost in all of this conversation. In the last 1 year, we have seen, despite all the provocations, despite the abuse, despite the insults on this governor, he has maintained, the peace. He has maintained governance in River State. So I think that's something that we should give him credit for, and call on our leaders, including my brother Olakawogu. Whatever sides you are, I think the interests of River State should be overarching in whatever we're doing. Despite our political interest, despite who we support, we're in diaspora. As Rivers people, we are concerned about what is going on at home. And the fact that our political leaders cannot differentiate between politics or electioneering and governance. It is time for governance. Governor Simonala Ifeanyi today is the governor. He emerged. The Rivers people are behind him, and so we expect all the political leaders, those who, whatever sides they belong to, everybody should come together and support this governor for one interest, and one common interest should be to everybody, the interest of Rivers people. The interest of Rivers State.
You have said, if I may come in here, Mr. Fubara, that what you're hoping that the conversation will focus on, will be what has been done in the last 1 year. Sadly, it's so sad that we cannot ignore the politics and what has happened, because in the middle of the politics, while infrastructure is also being built, infrastructure is also getting destroyed. A case in point is the River State House of Assembly, which was destroyed in the middle of this fracas. So it's so sad that it cannot be ignored, and in some ways it almost overshadows whatever it is. And it is interesting when Honorable Senator Wogo was talking about the genesis of the crisis. It happened at a 100 days event where ideally you're supposed to be talking about the project and how perhaps it should be developing or giving a more quality of life to the people of that particular area. So it does appear that if issues around governance are not properly managed, they can also affect the politics, which at the end of the day also affect the quality of life. So let me ask you, Senator, you tracing that genesis and looking at all that has happened since that time. That reprimand, I'm looking for a nicer word, the chiding, of the governor as to the history of that particular project. Was it done in public?
No, I was the only one there. And if I may say, Wike was so proud of Fubara. He would defend Fubara to the high heavens. And it was a phone conversation where he was just telling Fubara, this is what I think. Whenever you go to a place, we have people, leaders in those places. How you build them up. And you always say, these are the people that work for your next election. Apart from the fact that they did the last one. These are the people that work your next election. Remember to tell the community their contribution in the things you're doing. That way it keeps these people, because if, at the end of the day, the governor does not conduct election or in everywhere. It is the people, the structure, the people who are leaders there. They say, always highlight the leaders. We will do that. Sometimes we call leaders out. Look at these people. I did this because of this person. He asked me to do that. Even when he came to my local government, he said, because of him, I'll do this for you. I'll do this. That makes the people know that you're talking to the governor to help. It's a way of building your people. And he said, please, when you do that, remember, Fubara was not seen as a politician. People were skeptical. And Wike was determined to prove a point that this man would be a very successful governor.
Well, he's since come out to say that was a mistake. He's since come out to say if you make a mistake, you should be able to own up to it. He's not above mistake.
You have no idea. I can speak to that.
Right say that?
No, let me just speak to that right now. First of all, if you check the Elders Council when we started, Wike had this strong team, Elders Council. We will go everywhere with the entire team. We rode in buses to whatever public function the governor was doing. And after Fubara was selected, so many members of the Elder Councils resigned. They left. They wouldn't work with Wike again because of Fubara. They left. Wike bore it. He was pained, but he was just determined that Fubara will do the job. Then Fubara gets to office. And he's giving advice as somebody who is interested. In fact, the very first flag of Fubara did, he said, with this person will know that this man should do 8 years. He was already fighting for Fubara from day one. But this is how you go about things. The leaders in the local places must be carried along. Then this happened. I will tell my brother who is talking about this quickly. Even you can still play a role. You said you were coordinator of SIM. You were coordinator because Wike brought out Fubara. Then you took the name SIM and became his coordinator. You can play a role. So people can be brought back. The important thing is that you have to understand boundaries. Nobody has interfered with Fubara running government. Wike can give an advice as his benefactor, as his mentor. That's fine.
Yeah, but given all that has happened now, given the threats, because there were no ordinary threats, Senator. The fact that, the State House of Assembly was destroyed in the middle of this. It's still unclear, who did it. We don't know what will come out of the investigations, if any, are going on. We also saw the attempt at reconciliation that has since failed. We've seen members of the cabinet who were reinstated resign once more. Isn't this beyond repair?
No, it speaks to something, and this is it. There is governance and there is structure. You call it electioneering. The structure does the politics. There is governance and there is this thing. Clearly, the head of government is Fubara. But the structure that worked for Fubara to emerge is led by Wike. And at some point, Wike has said, okay, Fubara, do what you want to do. We are giving advice. Maybe you have better ways of doing your thing. Go ahead. All those who are shouting Fubara, let Fubara be. Fubara is not controlled by anybody. You can give him an advice. As a brother, as a son, as anything. You can give, even as a leader, you can give him advice. We can try that, and he stopped. Do your job, but leave the structure alone. What's the structure? The leaders, the party, the things that Wike himself worked so hard to build. Remember, the structure was not in our control. There was a previous governor there, and we fought and took the structure and built it. Wike led it. It's different. You see, in Amechi's time, Amechi was in charge. We came from outside and took over the structure and built. It was a battle and won. And Wike became governor and leader of the structure. In Fubra's case, Wike gave him leadership and was elected governor. Being governor does not automatically make you the head of our structure. And Wike said, leave our structure, because as soon as this started, then people started building alliances. He said, no, we should remain one. If you do not want, leave the structure alone. And right now, mainly the battle has been structure.
You know, Senator, just a second, if you can hear me, Senator. Well, Senator, if you can hear me, I think one of the challenges, my apologies for voting, I think one of the challenges that a number of people here, listen, at the end of the day, politics is just a vehicle. You know, it's a job. Politics is like a recruitment system for governance. And that's what this whole thing is about for a lot of people. So let me come back to you, Mr. Fubara in Canada. For you, what exactly do you think is happening here? You've listened to Senator Wogo and you've heard everything that he's saying. At the end of the day, a good number of people will not get the benefits of voting for an electing or appointing a governor as their people. So what do you think is happening here in this space of all that is going on with all these breakbacks that people are getting? What signals are we sending to the people who gave the governor a job?
Well, thank you, Ayo. I'm glad you're mentioning the people, and that's the point I was making earlier. Politics is over. What is central? What is the purpose of government in any case? What's the purpose of government? It's to serve the interests of the people. Right now, the Rivers people are being shortchanged by all of what is going on. This governor is being distracted daily by the political merchants, as my brother Senator Olakawu will call it.
For you, the question I'm asking, my apologies, the question I'm asking is, what is the root of all of these? And where do we go from here?
Well, we can try to establish the root as much as we want to. What is at play here is sheer greed. It's sheer desperation by a group of people who think that they continue to hold on to the state. That's what is going on here. And then the question of where do we go from here, that's why we are appealing as stakeholders, as leaders of River State. We are appealing to all parties to show their sword and allow the governor focus on governance for the good of the people.
What is also interesting here, Senator, my apologies, just a second. What is interesting here is that it would seem like that for those who have been following the politics of River State, this is not the first time. This is not likely to be the last time. Almost every new governor that comes in has to fight these battles, so to speak. And it is one state. Where do we go? Let me take that question to Senator Wogo. It would seem like almost every, you also said it the other time, that when the former governor Wike came into office, he, wrested a particular structure and got it and all of that. So it's natural for people to wonder, how come this happens all the time? Whenever there is a governor, in office, there has to be this breakback, there has to be this contestation. Can't we just have one people interested in governing the state for the purpose of developing the state?
I keep trying to make this distinction. There is government and governance, and there is structure and politics. Fubra has government. Nobody, if you say he's being distracted, it is him that has chosen to be distracted. Nobody has stopped him from doing his job as governor. He can decide which project he wants to do, if it's within his budget, which he should have put forward. He can decide how he spends his money within this budget. Those are absolutely his own decisions to make. Nobody, there is no contest about who the governor is and what the governor can do with governance. If there is no governance, it is him who should decide Has he left his priorities to do other things? Has he decided to do politics instead of governance? It's him to decide. The minister has not gone one day to say, don't do this project, especially once this relationship stopped being as cordial as it started. He has backed off completely. All those who continue to repeat the mantra, greed, this thing, they are just spreading falsehood and lies. This man is working in Abuja and doing a good job. He's not even, why he's doing politics, but he's doing his job in Abuja. He doesn't stop anybody doing his own where he should do. However, the leader of the structure has been wicked. You say you've toppled him, say so. But to the best of my knowledge,
the leader of the you said it the other time. If you can hear me, just a second, Senator. When you said it the other time, you said when Mr. Nyesom Wike became governor of Rivers State, he took over a structure. You said he fought for it and he won. What is wrong with this government? This governor also saying, I want to fight for this structure and win it.
So if you want to do that, then stop saying it's wicked that is distracting you. Admit that you want to fight for structure. See, don't speak on both sides. Go straight and tell the people. Or tell the people clearly, on governance, I know I have control, so hold me accountable. But for structure, I want to fight for it. Nobody stops you from fighting for structure. But admit to the people that it is the structure you're fighting for that is distracting you from governance. Put it the other way around. We can recall that Amechi left for the APC, left the PDP and went to the APC. And Wike built the PDP. Then they thought it was dead. He built it back in Rivers and handed power to Fubra by choice. Now, if Fubra wants to overthrow him, let him tell the people I'm overthrowing Wike as leader of the structure. But stop saying Wike is meddling in governance because we are misleading the people. This miseducation has been on.
Okay, so gentlemen,
have been so deceived.
We need to wrap up. So, Mr. Fubara, could you tell us then? Because yes, they try to focus on what is happening in terms of governance, but in fact, we saw the governor the other day trying to commission a road, but then there was another political statement about debt and things like that. So can you tell us then, because in less than a minute if you can, so what is it that the governor has done in 1 year?
Well, Chamberlain, thank you so much. We spent the whole time talking about structure and all whatnot, whereas in the last 1 year, the governor of Rivers State hit the ground running. We have seen a lot of legacy projects on the economy. We have seen the governor within the last 1 year grow the IGR from the neighborhood of 15 billion or thereabout that it was to, most recent time, 27 billion. We have seen the promotion and recruitment process that went on within the civil service. In the health sector, we have seen what the commissioner, Dr. Adeze Ore, and her team are doing, revolutionizing the health sector of Rivers State. Okay, we have seen just of recent, within the last 1 year, wherein the governor has set up this 4 billion naira nano loan with Bank of Industry. The funds have been disbursed to Rivers people. What is the whole essence of this? It's the people. My brother Olakawogu kept talking about structure. The structure are the Rivers people. The governor is working for Rivers people, and Rivers people are behind the governor. So I think that all of this distraction by the merchants, as he called it, should be rested. They should allow the governor to focus and function instead of these distractions every day. Chamberlain, just before I go, Mark Webb mentioned the House of Assembly, that it's under repair. Even the former governor himself, Chief Nyesom Wike, acknowledged that the foundation was faulty. Right. So if it's being repaired today, it's for the good of the people. Thank you so much. I'm sure
we'll see if we can make more time to see how we can focus on
Please. We need to speak on what the governor has done in the last 1 year. Thank you.
In 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, my brother, let me say something. You see, sometimes people don't understand that there is politics and there is governance. And I keep making that point. And it's bad faith to allude to somebody who helps somebody to power and does not interfere in governance. Put all your problems on him. Okay. The job the governor has is between him and his people.
All right,
but Wike has his right to this. And if you recall, it's not about Wike. The House of Assembly has their issues with the governor. He said, I have them at my discretion.
Why would they want to impeach the governor?
The pillars of government is important.
Well, thank you for coming.
Senator Wogu, why would they want to impeach the governor?
Because Senator Olakawo is a former chairman, Senate Committee on Environment, and I'm a Bashir Fubara, diaspora coordinator of Rivers Team Movement Worldwide. Also an environmentalist, they have that in common. Also plays in the oil and gas sector. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on today. Well.